Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new edition of YouTube Take. I am your illustrious, gracious host, Big Rat 310, with my two friends at the moment.
Nightmareballa1 and Duke Blue Devils suck.
When you're out of luck.
And you, Phil?
Oh, Nightmare88, 10, 26, wherever you want to find.
Nightmare10 on YouTube, Nightmare88 on Twitter, Nightmare26 on Xbox.
Yeah.
Quick question before we get to this world of football. Markeem, do my shitty-ass Miami Hurricanes, who I just saw blow a game against FSU in our stadium yesterday, do they have a shot to upset the Duke Blue Devils in Miami next week?
Yes, they do.
Clemson won, anything can happen.
I don't know, man. I saw us lose to FSU. But Jabari Parker...
That fucking... Stop. No, don't you do it.
Well, let me just say that I read an article the other day that Jabari Parker is quote-unquote the clear-cut number 1 overall pick.
And whoever says that is an idiot. An idiot. Dog, you can't shoot horribly when no one is you know what I mean, covering you. You can't shoot that badly when no one's around you for so many games. Disappear late in games, take bad shots and take the team out of the game. And it's just a bad overall leader and be like, oh, you're the number 1 overall pick. That's bullshit.
Oh, you guys
Aaron Gordon's better. Andrew Wiggins is better.
Julius Randle.
Julius Randle is better.
Marcus Smart.
What's his name?
Marcus Smart. Exum.
I hadn't seen Exum, so I can't really comment. But that guy from Kansas, the center, Embiid, he's better.
Oh, Embiid, yeah. Julian Embiid or something. Something Embiid. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's better. So.
Sorry for that random college basketball intro, everybody, but we're still 2 weeks away. I guess me, Markeem, and Chase will start doing more NBA videos once the football season ends. But nonetheless, if we can find Chase, he's kind of buried somewhere. Anyways, next week we'll go on talking about the divisional round. The NFL Divisional Round was this past weekend, and I don't know about you guys, but overall, kind of disappointing.
Some bad games.
Kind of.
Bad games.
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, there were some bad games.
I mean,
most of them were bad.
I have a feeling because the wild card round last year, if you guys remember, was terrible. Last year.
And the divisional round was good, right?
And the divisional round was amazing.
Oh, good. I would say good.
Well, but the divisional round last year was like really good. And this year, after the wild card round was very good. And then before the divisional round, I just saw all these writers and ESPN guys like tweeting, "Oh man, this week's the NFL Divisional Round, the best weekend of football all year." And I was just thinking, we just had a great wild card weekend, and everyone's going crazy about how awesome this weekend's going to be. That usually means the weekend's going to suck.
I saw that too, yeah. I was starting to think that too. I was like, man, y'all...
That Broncos and Chargers game was so bad. So garbage.
And I heard someone say that was the best game.
That's because of the end. That was probably the one.
I mean, yeah, because of the ending, but the game itself was...
For those that do not know, I guess we'll start.
To sit through. I wanted the Broncos to score one more touchdown, so it would definitely be over, so I could stop watching.
We'll start with that game, I guess. The Broncos beat the Chargers 24-17 at home to move on to the AFC Championship game. I mean, one of the main stories of the game, at least for me, was that the Broncos. I think this game could have been a lot uglier than what it was. Like early on, you had the sense that the Broncos should have been winning like 30-0. Like, there were so many opportunities they just blew, whether it be Peyton Manning throwing a pick in the end zone, or fucking Matt Prater missing a kick in his own stadium, which he like has never done or done once all year, something crazy like that. Like, they made a bunch of dumb mistakes, and I just thought they were letting San Diego back in the game. And then Chris Harris got hurt, and then San Diego started making a comeback. And the last few minutes were kind of cool, and then Peyton Manning, quote-unquote, clutch, the worst term in all of sports. The dude completed 2 passes in the fourth quarter to ice the game. But yeah, it was kind of dumb. Phil, I'll go to you first. What are your first immediate thoughts on the game?
Markeem just said it best. That game was awful. I was like, either Chargers, if you're not going to play, like, can we just go ahead and call it a half? Like,
so I could just go and do something else, man. Shit.
The worst kind of game you can watch, and you guys can maybe disagree, but the worst kind of game you can watch is when you know it's over and it's in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Second quarter.
And the other team doesn't look like they're changing. It doesn't look like they're going to put up a fight, and it just kind of drags along. A good example is like Markeem. Maybe you would agree with me. Like I know someone thinks that like one of the worst games ever is Alabama LSU national championship game.
That's the worst national championship game of all time.
Like it's just
not
even. It was the same style. It was just like Alabama was scoring, but they were scoring slowly, and like you didn't think FSU had a shot in hell to win, even though they weren't down by that much. But Alabama was scoring so slowly, little by little, it just dragged on, and yeah, similar thoughts there, Phil.
And yeah, I mean, this was, I think, and that, like I said, I was gonna say, like it makes it even worse that the Chargers technically were still in it, and it's like, come on, Denver, put them away so that.
Yeah.
And I can like just leave it on mute and do something on the computer or something like, It's just like, but you couldn't do that because like you said, Broncos kept making mistakes. Like I think it was the end of the half and when he threw that pick, which was like, it was a tip pick, barely. I mean, he barely caught it, So it was, I'm not hating on Peyton for that, but you just that keeps the Chargers in it. And then it's like, well, maybe that'll be momentum they carry into the second or into the third quarter. And no.
The third quarter was arguably the worst quarter for both teams. They both looked awful.
Broncos didn't do anything to even to make it even worse. And then fourth quarter, Chargers like, I guess we'll play now. the playbook looked like, where was this playbook earlier in the game? Now you can make the argument the Broncos defense just didn't care at that point. So I don't want to really give. I mean, I guess I hope you care. You're trying to close it out so you.
Well, the corner got hurt. His name Morris.
Chris Harris.
Yeah, Chris Harris.
Chris Harris.
Well, yeah, but the other ones, they look like, I think I tweeted this, and I was like, they look like they were just slow and didn't care. Which can you blame them when you just knew? I mean, but yeah, this game was, I was just like, get it over. Like, don't, and then the comeback, I was like, I'm gonna sit here and like, won't this.
Now you gotta watch this shit to the end.
It's like now I gotta watch it, and then it's like. It's like Peyton just finished it. Like I literally, and I don't ever like. I think I tweeted this too. It's like I wanted, obviously, like it would be nice if the Chargers won, but I was like, I was just like Peyton. I was like Peyton. I just tweeted finally, Peyton, end this already. Like just end this.
And he did it. Peyton brought us all our mercy.
We all knew it's going to be Denver. Like at this point, once that game started, it's like. But anyways, there's not much more to say. I mean, the thing is, the Chargers. I don't know what they were doing in the first half, but whatever.
Markeem.
I don't have some more to say.
Markeem, your thoughts? Just anything else you want to add?
I mean, not much, man. But except what Skip Bayless said, I think this is one of Peyton Manning's best games of his career. I cut off first take. As soon as he opened his mouth, cut off first take. I was like, I can't do this today. I can't deal with you today.
Did he also say Tom Brady had the best game of his career?
No, he didn't. We gonna get to that shit. That's what I really want to talk about. But yeah, the game was horrible. I feel bad for the Chargers because they really opened up their playbook at all. It's kind of sad because them being kind of go nuts crazy kind of got them to this point. They didn't do that. That kind of bothered me.
They were really conservative. Like you can't play conservative against Peyton Manning.
It was weird.
Yeah, I agree. It was dull. It wasn't good. I'm basically everyone knows that Peyton Manning, I'm a huge fan. He's my favorite athlete of all time. I don't know if I said this on air. When the Dolphins were in the running to make the playoffs, and it looked like they were going to face the Bengals in the first round, and as you guys know, on my record, Marvin Lewis will never win a playoff game. I was like, man, that means we play the Broncos. And I thought to myself, do I honestly want the Dolphins to win that game? And it was a struggle. I said yes.
Nigga?
It was
you better cheer your damn team.
No, I said yes, but it was, come on, Markeem. The Eagles played Andrew Luck in the Super Bowl.
I'm cheering the Eagles.
I know.
Feel bad that we have to beat him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm cheering the Dolphins, but like I would have just felt terrible being the team that knocked out Peyton Manning, especially a one and done season. Like I would have not enjoyed that. So for me, I was just watching a bad game. I was watching the Broncos make stupid decisions, and then I saw the Chargers almost win it at the end. So it just really wasn't enjoyable on my end in any way. But yeah, we'll move on.
One thing I will say, whether this actually happened, I'm gonna just believe it happened. Peyton looked at John Fox and was like, "I got this. We ain't running the ball. I'm in there." Like it.
If nothing,
yeah, that last drive. Yeah. That's what it looked like, right?
Literally, it looked like I got this. Won't even call anything.
They learned their lesson. Because I was so convinced. I told my friends, watch this. They're going to fucking run it 3 downs in a row, be a yard short, give the Chargers like a minute and 30 seconds left, and Philip Rivers is going to drive down and send this to overtime. Like, I was convinced. I was shocked when they threw it on 2nd and 17 and 3rd and 17. But also very happy. But anyways, next we move on to now we'll move on to the other game that day, Niners Panthers. I haven't checked our picks. I think I went 4-0.
I went 3-1.
I went 3-1 also.
Phil, you picked. Actually no, I did not go 4-0. I picked the Saints in a hero pick. I remember this now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went.
But I was the only one of the 3 of us to pick the Niners. So I was 3-1, and you guys were 3-1 as well, if I remember correctly. Okay.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the.
But yeah, Niners beat the Panthers pretty handily. In the first half, the Panthers were kind of controlling the pace of the game. Then in the second half, the Niners kind of ran away with it. Markeem, I'll go to you first. First thoughts coming off this game and your Super Bowl prediction going down and all this.
Colin Kaepernick is a bad dude.
Yeah.
Like it is that. So I think that people was like, well, what's wrong with Kaepernick all year? I think Jim Harbaugh was just saving him for now. I think he was like, now you can do what you can do, pretty much, and he went completely apeshit in that second half, and they looked kind of unstoppable. They looked like they were impossible to beat in that second half because the Panthers, as y'all know, are a very good team, but also very inexperienced. I think they had a lot to do with it too. Cam Newton didn't play horrible, but he could have done better than he did. You know what I'm saying? And they have no running game, but they weren't even creative to try and get the running game going. I don't know. Receivers were dropping passes. It was just a bad game for them in the second half. So Niners move on. Not much else to say. Both of the defenses looked good until the Panthers just imploded at the end because it was over. So.
Cam, the only thing I'm going to say is that I was reading Walter Football before the season started, and Walter Football was just like commenting like, man, people would really see that Cam Newton is just as talented as all these young quarterbacks. But no one knows it yet because the Panthers can't get him any offensive weapons whatsoever, and he has to settle with the worst number 2 receiver in football with Brandon LaFell. And throughout the season, I kind of ignored that. I was like, oh, Cam's like, he's showing up this year. He seems to be getting past his weak offense. But then watching this game, especially towards the end, it really did dawn on me, like, this team, they're not going to get him, but this team needs to draft, like, Sammy Watkins. I think they take a receiver in round 1, in my opinion. I think it's more...
without question.
Like, that defense, like, 80% of that defense is already set. Like, maybe you need more help in the secondary, but you can say that in free agency or the later rounds. I think this team needs another wide receiver right now. Steve Smith, here's an amazing stat. Steve Smith, the past 2 seasons, before this season, in 2011 and 2012, was second in the NFL of pass plays over 20 yards. Number 1 was Calvin Johnson. Steve Smith was number 2. Second in the NFL in pass plays over 20 yards. This year, he was 135th in the NFL in pass plays over 20 yards. They need to fix that offense. But that's all I have to say. Phil, anything else?
I want them, just me being, a fanboy, I want them to get Mike Evans.
That would be crazy.
I tell you.
Can you imagine that? Steve Smith, a tiny guy, a tiny speedster with Mike Evans, big and powerful. That'd be a crazy, crazy combination.
You think Mike Evans would be there by then, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Not at all. Not at all.
Going top 5 on some of these mocks now. Like and Mike Evans in the top. I think last one I saw Mike Evans to the Lions at 10. So it's like he's going up and up and up.
Manziel.
They're another team that need a number 2 too. Also. So.
The Lions with Sammy Watkins and Calvin Johnson, or either Mike Evans and Calvin. Good night.
Yeah.
Caldwell wouldn't even have to do anything.
He didn't have to do it. He didn't do anything in Indianapolis.
Well, I was 80. You don't do anything to Peyton.
Here, Phil, anything else you want to add to this last minute?
One thing it's Panthers. The Panthers just weren't. I'm not gonna say they didn't show up, but I expected more out of the Panthers in this game. I think just the Niners. They've been there, done that. They know they know what they have to get done, and I know this is so cliche to say. I've said this before about the Giants, and I'll say it again about the Panthers. Like the Panthers, now this is a little early for the Panthers, so maybe I'm jumping the gun. But like the Giants are a team that when they played on the bye, they were a totally different team. When they played on bye, they literally would get like blown out. I think the Packers blew them out when they played on bye. I don't know if that's the Packers. Memory.
It was the Cardinals, I think, or someone else, or the Eagles.
But someone beat them like pretty bad, pretty decisively when they were like like Eli's best record in the season.
It was the year after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they're just bam, one and done. And I think the Panthers. Now I'm not saying they're quite like the Giants in that sense, but I think the Giants. I mean, the Panthers needed to play back to back. They needed to play the wild card, and it's just one of those things where getting the bye kind of hurt them. I think if they played week 1 and maybe played, I don't know who they would have played, but I guess the Eagles. Say they played the Eagles, and then got ready momentum wise. The Niners were just too. That team was on a mission. And I know a lot of people jumped on them, a lot sooner than what I'm saying now. But Panthers they'll be like you said, they definitely need somebody on offense. They'll be back. Don't worry about that. But Niners won. I was wrong. I mean, I kind of this was the hardest game for me to pick last week, as I said before on the show. So, but I went with the Panthers. So. Niners look good, man. That game next, good night.
We'll get there. We'll get there to the Niners.
Now let's go backwards to Saturday games.
This is true. So now we got Colts Patriots. Markeem, obviously I'll let you.
Hey, echo, Phil.
Yeah, Phil, there's an echo on our end. Not anymore. But Markeem, Colts Patriots. Obviously we have two people on this call. One rooting very strongly for one team. The other rooting very strongly for the other team. Markeem. Just because I normally would let Phil go first, but because it's the end of his season, Markeem, your thoughts on this one?
I really got to talk about this game right now.
Yeah, dog. Sorry.
Y'all gonna make me do this? I mean, it was a bad. Everybody played bad. It was a bad performance. Andrew Luck was bad. The receivers were bad. The offensive line was bad. The defense was bad. It was a bad performance. I think that the Patriots played well. I don't want to take anything away from them because Bill Belichick did what he was supposed to all year, and that's hand the ball off to whoever you got back there, whoever's going, and let him cook, which is what he should have been doing all season. He did it, late in the season. Should have been doing it all season, but it makes me sad, man, because now it's like, everyone jump on Andrew Luck. How many interceptions did he throw in that game, huh? You make him seem like he's got it. He throws all these picks and stuff. He literally had to do everything alone. I mean, let's evaluate who he's lost to these past 2 years. The Super Bowl champion and Tom Brady in Foxborough. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, it's like, I'm saying, two of the most dominant teams of the decade he lost to in the past 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. He'll be back. He'll be back to do amazing things. And when he gets his ring, y'all will never hear the end of it. Let's just put it like that. It made me sad, though. It hurt. God, it hurt.
I've already seen the stat, Andrew Luck's touchdown to interception ratio in his postseason career. It begins, Markeem. It begins.
Yeah, I know.
Pass too. So
Phil, quick thoughts there on that game. Obviously,
first of all, I'll comment on Andrew Luck. Anyone that says that, and this is from a Patriots fan that enjoyed him throwing interceptions. Sorry, Markeem, but I did.
I mean, no, man, that's your thing. You're supposed to do that.
But I saw something. I'm telling you, dude. Like literally, you can ask my friend because he watched the game with me, and he can vouch for me. But whatever. Like. We're up 14-0. I'm like, nah, they got Andrew Luck, man. Nah, they got Andrew Luck. And we gave him time. I said, don't give him time. There's one play, literally, I think it was his first touchdown pass. I'm like, too much time. And he threw it, and before I could even see who he threw it to, I was like, touchdown. Looked right up, touchdown. That's exactly what it was. The dude, like, he had to make plays in the end. That's why I think he threw a lot of interceptions toward the end. Because he had to do something. He was trying. He tried too hard. He knows it was, I'm sure no one hates it more than himself. And it's just like, I just saw some good, like that. Both touchdown throws were just like, wow. Like, I think the second one kind of put him back into the game where, they were semi-close or whatever. But, it's just, I still applaud him. I know, like he said, he went down with 4 interceptions. And that's the only thing that people are going to look at because people don't watch these games. They just look at the stats. And they think, and stats don't necessarily tell the whole story. A lot of times they don't tell any of it. But, yeah, Andrew Luck's going to get a ring. That man is just too good already. He just, he probably had, I don't know, y'all can tell me, but I would say he probably had the second worst, or arguably the worst offensive line. Like Chargers, I'd say the worst, but in the playoffs,
Chargers, your Dolphins.
Oh,
You saying in the playoffs?
Playoffs, yeah, I would say they're second.
Chargers was the worst.
yeah, then it was Colts. It was Colts, and the Seahawks are third, I think, but Colts were second. Yeah.
But
Well, no, congrats to your team, obviously.
but as far as the Patriots, man, I was ecstatic in that game. Every pick, like Jamie Collins stepping up, that was awesome. People saying act like that's the first game he played. He actually played in the Denver game and the other games too. Y'all just no one knows, but me, of course. But I don't expect that. But dude was awesome. He stepped in huge with no Brandon Spikes. And Blunt, and I tweeted this the start. Actually, I don't even remember his name. Foster. I don't remember his first name. Jeremy Foster, that's his name.
Yeah, Jerry Foster.
Tweeted me was like, yeah, but Bill's the ego. He's not gonna let him do that. And I was like, nah, Blunt. I'm telling you, I knew it because of
I feel like I was watching an Oregon game. What the fuck? What was up with that shit?
Blunt. I'm telling you, I'm not. I didn't. Now, did I expect Brady not to throw a single touchdown and it would be all Blunt? No, I didn't expect that. But I was glad to see this. I was like, could care less about the ending stats of Brady. I'm sorry. I know everybody else is gonna eat him apart and say, oh, he didn't throw a touchdown, and all this other stuff. Blunt we got the job done. That's all I care. Defense did great. I feel like we still gave Andrew Luck way too much time. Like we got to get to Peyton next week, or this week. But yeah, I was all around. I was happy. I was like, this is what I want. Win and go to the next game up. So.
And oh my god, like I'll do that after the after we talk about the last game. Oh, we already did. Yeah, we already talked about it again.
No, we haven't.
We haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
We're missing a game.
I do have.
Yeah.
The only thing I will, and we're not going to get into this now. I don't view it as a knock on a quarterback when he doesn't throw a touchdown pass, because like you just don't know the ebb and flow of the game. You don't know like where the ball lands. I don't knock a quarterback for that. I would knock a quarterback for only completing 50% of his passes though. That would be where the knock would be. 13 for 25, I think he was in that game. But I'm the only person on this planet that notices that. I'm aware. We'll get to that when we talk about the last game.
I'm glad you pointed that out, kid. Nah, before I noticed that too.
But I'm just like, if Peyton played the way he did and completed only 50% of his passes, he just can't complete a pass in the cold. It's a big stakes playoff game, and he just can't play football. It's bullshit. But anyways, Saints Seahawks. This, in my opinion, was the worst game of the weekend. I know you guys are really down on. Maybe it's because Chargers Broncos. At the end of the day, the Broncos won, and at the end of the day, at least we got some last minute drama. The Saints Seahawks was just It was the same thing I was saying about the Bama LSU game and about Broncos Chargers. Like, the Saints weren't down by that much. Like, they really only needed one or two big plays to make it a close game. But I just had no faith. And they just couldn't move the ball at all on the Seahawks. And then Russell Wilson played terrible for the Seahawks. I was dull. I saw this entire game with all my friends. And my friends then went to go get food. And me and one of my friends who's a Seahawks fan, we were the only two to stay behind to watch the game. And while they were all out socializing, having fun, getting dinner, we were there watching this miserable ass game. Like I hated this game. I thought this was the worst game of the weekend. I know you guys may disagree or agree. That's fine. But this one was brutal. I think
it's debatable. It's debatable.
It's debatable.
You know Vince Verhey, Vinny from the Brian and Vinny show.
Yeah.
He's a Seahawks fan, and he tweeted after the game, that's probably the least impressive way a team can possibly go to their conference championship game after winning a game like this. Like, he was not happy with the Seahawks performance at all. And he's a huge Seahawks fan. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of this game. I thought it was dull. I thought it was dry. I thought the last play was kind of crazy. But yeah, Phil, quick thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I was actually going to add on to something you said, or kind of whatever. Like, this was kind of the same thing. Like, Seahawks wouldn't put them away. Like, they just kept letting them, we'll kick a couple field goals. They weren't putting them away. Like, kind of like the Broncos weren't with the Chargers. Little different case, but yeah, this game, I was just obviously as a Patriot fan, I'm just like get to the game. Like, I want this game. I want to see an exciting game if I gotta wait for my game. So the inning stuff gets blown out of proportion. The Saints basically just messed the spread up. That's all they did. I think
I think the Saints. Yeah, they beat the spread at the end of the day.
So that everybody that bet on that game was watching that final drive that the Saints scored. But and then of course people overblown the Colston thing. Like the dude doesn't. One thing my friend made a good point here, and I agree with him. Where like you don't know, like you're on the field, you think his first some fans acted like his first instinct is to look at the clock, like he's gonna when he caught it, the one end was called play anyway.
It was like play. It was a called play.
He threw it forward, but and of course it's stupid.
That's what I blame him for. Like even if they would have scored, how do you throw a forward pass after you cross the line of scrimmage? Like, come on, nigga.
That's the thing.
You can't be that stupid.
That's where the fault is from. I fault him on that for it, because he should know better than that. But it's still, whatever. It's him throwing it backwards, they still lose. Like, there's no way. But I think that's why people overreact there. But it is what it is. Seahawks won. I kind of backtracked a little bit because I thought, to me, the Niners looked more impressive in their win than the Seahawks did, and I've been on the Seahawks train for a while. So that was kind of like, it kind of gave maybe a little gut check there. But
yeah, that's very, very clear.
What happened was exactly what I thought would happen, though. I mean, I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but,
Yeah. Markeem?
I don't want to talk about this game.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we're just going to move on.
I think I was even more mad because I picked the Saints in a hero pick because I thought the Seahawks, this was the type of, I just want to very quickly want to add this rant. This is, I legitimately believe the way the Seahawks played, almost any other team that made the playoffs in the NFC could have won this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles had won this game, if the Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, even Cam Newton, I don't get it. Drew Brees played so bad, and I just really feel like this was a missed opportunity for any team in the NFC playoffs with a great quarterback, with a great offense, to really capitalize on the Seahawks' inability to score in this game towards the end.
And you want to talk about quarterback play? Russell Wilson 9 for 18, 103 yards, yet they win. Which of course Marshall Lynch went beast mode, but
he's
but same thing with.
And what did I tell you? Didn't I tell y'all Percy Harvin to just get hurt
in the first quarter? You even said in the first quarter.
I wanted to tweet at you, Markeem, because that's the first thing I thought. I was like, Markeem says that dude always stays hurt.
The more impressive part was him saying it doesn't matter if he plays, he's gonna get hurt in the first quarter, and you say it so sarcastically, but
I forgot he said that. That's right.
He legitimately got hurt in the first quarter.
But one thing I want to point out is non-football related, really, but the Skittles throwing was pretty awesome. Literally, I don't know if you could tell, but there was one shot where there was after the Skittles had been throwing everything, and I think the Saints were getting ready to score. So I don't remember. You could see in the end zone, they had it zoomed up on a player that was in the end zone on the ground, and Skittles everywhere. It was awesome.
The Skittles. Oh, come on, Phil.
There's Skittles in the grass. I don't know. I was marking out for Skittles. I had to find something in that game.
Hey, I would agree with him on that. But yeah, Will.
Literally a bag of Skittles.
Oh, so was that you, Phil?
What?
Something just blasted my headphones right now. I wasn't sure if it was an ad or muted. Whatever. Irrelevant. We'll talk about the conference championship games, but before we do, we'll talk about the championship games at the end of the video. But very quickly, I just want to say this one line with no commentary. Dave Damashek made this point today, based on how the Niners and Seahawks looked in their games. If the game was played on a neutral field, not even in Candlestick, on a neutral field, would anybody pick the Seahawks?
I wouldn't. I would.
So just
that's a really good point. I would.
Something to keep in mind. Okay, next we go to the hired coaches. 6 head coaches were fired this offseason. We had our own hot seat, hot list tracker.
Real quick, because I didn't get a chance to talk about it. James Franklin is now the new coach at Penn State.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say much about it besides the fact it's a stepping stone. Let's put it like that. He's using that place to get somewhere bigger. Well, it's sad, but it is what it is.
I don't want to say I'm not one of these, so hopefully you don't take this doesn't sound like that. But leaving Penn State a bigger job than Vanderbilt?
No, yeah. It is. But
if he succeeds in it, I guess I must. Never mind. Just continue. The SC bias.
The SEC bias just shine through just now, Phil.
It came through me. I'm just saying, he succeeds in Vanderbilt.
Phil, there are very few schools in the country that are a bigger job than Penn State.
Well, I think Penn State used to be a big job.
No. You could make the argument that Vanderbilt is a better job, but it's not bigger.
I guess
Yeah, it's not
that's what. Okay, that's maybe what I meant better.
Yeah, I mean, no, me and Markeem both.
You know, like he could build a. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, no. Me and Markeem both agreed that it's better to be at Vanderbilt right now.
I think that's what I meant. Yeah.
At least long term. But like Markeem said, he's using Penn State
As
as
a
a
step,
means
like-
to get to the NFL or get somewhere else. So
Oh yeah, and Bobby Petrino back at Louisville.
Yes.
Over under 2 years, he does something stupid, and then he gets fired again.
Refresh my memory.
I give him 2
Everybody-
seasons.
I was watching Mike and Mike, and they were talking about that. I was so confused why everybody was hating Petrino. I must.
he has a
cheated
long
on his wife.
history. He has a long history, Phil.
I remember he cheated on his wife. I remember that.
He
Do
cheated
you not remember what he did to the Falcons?
What now?
in the Falcons.
You remember what he did to
in
the
the Falcons in 2007? They were 3-10, and after a Monday night game, without telling anybody, the Falcons went to their lockers and saw a one-sentence statement from Bobby Petrino saying, "I can't coach this team anymore." And that
Oh
was
yeah,
that.
that's right. He up and quit. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. All right. Never
Or
mind.
how
I remember that.
he got into a car accident with his mistress, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mistress,
Markeem,
right.
at Arkansas, and he was cheating on his wife
Yep.
with her and everything, and lied about it, and lied about who was in the car with him, and lied about what they were doing. And then
Did that awkward ass press conference in that neck brace, and oh man,
Yeah, Bobby Petrino has a rap. But yeah, that's Bobby Petrino and James Franklin. Also, this is very, very, very random. Do you remember the Colorado coach from last year who got fired and said he'd never get another job in college football because he's black?
yeah, I remember.
John
yeah.
Embry. Yeah, he got a job as a tight ends coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under black head coach Lovie Smith.
Hilarious.
Da.
He's probably gonna suck. The tight ends are gonna suck now. Like no, he was all time terrible at Colorado. Nigga has nothing to do with that. You're black. You suck. It's that simple. I don't care if you were green. I don't care if you were purple. Like you're terrible. Who cares?
I'll never forget when I introduced that segment. Markeem, since you're our official college football and black guy spokesperson, explain to us the situation. He got fired because he sucked, not because he's black.
You're the Bills. You suck.
Yeah, well, anyways, let's move on. So yeah, 6 coaches were hired. I think we already talked about Bill O'Brien at the Texans. Pretty sure we did.
I don't know if
We did last week.
Yeah, I think. we
Yeah,
did.
so that leaves 5 other coaches who got hired. Well, the Browns haven't hired their coach yet. The rumor is that they want to hire either Adam Gase, the Broncos offensive coordinator, or Dan Quinn, the Seahawks defensive coordinator. And obviously, both of those guys are still in the playoffs, so they can't do that.
I got a question. You have to hire a coach before the draft, right? It has to happen.
I think so.
I don't-
think so. Could be wrong, but I think so.
Okay, because what I would do, because they're taking a quarterback, and Mel Kiper's talking like Johnny Manziel's going number 1 overall. We'll talk about that later. I ain't even in the mood. I'm just mad at him right now, but just mad, just pissed at. Oh, okay, real quick.
Kuiper didn't have Manziel number 1 though, did he?
Yeah, he did in his newest mock draft.
Yeah. Dog.
I thought he had Clowney number 1.
No, he is.
If he goes, that's his best player. That's his best player. I'm talking about his mock draft. I get why he said it. You know what I mean, NFL GMs want Manziel because he's box office. I totally get that. But dog, like, I know you're supposed to predict how it goes. I get that. I do understand that. Bill O'Brien's a smart dude. Manziel's an enigma. I don't think it will happen. I really don't. I don't think it will happen. And I think Mel Kiper need to use his brain, man. like I think Manziel will be pretty good in the NFL. Pretty good to great in the NFL. At the very least, pretty good.
Nope.
And well, I know how you feel, Phil. But he's a risk, man. Everybody knows this. He's a risk. He's undersized. He's a you know what I mean? Let's be real. He's a party guy. I mean, I'm not going to say he don't work hard because he does. But he's a party guy, and that's always a question mark. And his games, like him playing, will be bigger than what your team does. It'd be like a Tebow situation.
Oh,
I mean, like, why would that?
Johnny Manziel will be a bigger star in the NFL as far as box office attraction than RG3 was. I really believe that.
Yeah, without question. Not even close.
But we'll get to that. But I can't.
Mel saying this, like he go number 1 overall. I was like, no, you're going out on a limb, Mel. You're putting together your mock draft. This is an honest prediction. You're usually wrong, but this is one of them times where I think you will definitely be wrong.
I mean, look, this is. Don't we do this every year when the number one pick is pretty clear and everyone has to argue and fight about it for 3 months before it becomes obvious? I can't see them passing up on Teddy Bridgewater, personally. But
like he's my top QB prize. But I'm not even convinced they're taking a QB.
No,
like
I'm hearing a lot of different things.
Well, no, I'm not convinced they don't trade out of that pick.
That's what they should do.
It wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, let's move.
Manziel's top 5 though, but I don't even think that's even debatable.
He's gonna go to die in Cleveland. I told you.
We'll talk about this later.
Speaking of Cleveland, though, I've got a retweet about something that I thought was pretty funny. Mike Greeny actually retweeted or posted this. He said, "I see the Browns owners asking for patience. I'm sure the coach they fired after one season finds that hilarious."
This is where our shows go so long. God damn it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go.
Let me just also a quick nugget added onto that. Do you know how much Rod Chenzinski made with his 1 year in Cleveland?
How much?
$11 million.
Holy shit!
Oh, I'd be fine. Thank y'all.
Like that. I'm good.
I'm going to retire now.
Hey, I'll go coach an NFL team for one season. I can't do any worse.
That's how much guaranteed money was in his contract every year for like a 4-year contract. So he made $11 million. Yeah. But anyways, let's move on. So Cleveland hasn't hired a coach yet, but 4 teams hired head coaches since then. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fired Greg Schiano and hired Lovie Smith. The Minnesota Vikings fired Leslie Frazier and hired Mike Zimmer. The Detroit Lions fired Jim Caldwell and fired Jim Schwartz and hired Jim Caldwell. And the Titans
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. And the Tennessee Titans fired Mike Munchak and hired Ken Wisenhunt. So Markeem, I'll go to you first. Of the 4, which signing was the best? Which signing was the worst?
I think Wisenhunt, because him getting there will automatically help that offense.
Yeah.
As soon as he steps in the door, they're a better offense. So I think that was the best. Lovie Smith was the safest. I mean, let's be. He was the safest. You know, he's a defensive coach like Schiano, but he has NFL experience. So there you go. You know what I mean? So that was the safest. The worst though was Jim Caldwell, because you get rid of Jim Schwartz and you get a guy who just sits there and does nothing. Good job.
He went to a Super Bowl.
He's like, he's not a good coach. He's a bad coach. He's a coach. It is what it is. He's okay.
The scary thing, though, is that I think even if he does nothing, that team can still win. I'm not going to pick them to, because no one can trust the Lions. But I would still not be surprised if that team wins 8 or 9 games next year, just because of how talented they are. And of course, Caldwell will get all the credit. Then he'll get fired in 2 years, and then he'll get a job somewhere else. Phil, to you, best, worst.
Oh, you mean like Jim Schwartz did? You mean like what he did?
Of course.
To me, the biggest question mark to me is why did the Lions not get Wisenhunt? Now, obviously, Wisenhunt, I think, chose to go to this. I think it wasn't really the Lions.
Thank you, Phil.
Now, why did he? My question is, did you choose the Titans because you just didn't want that spotlight on you? Did you choose it because they did offer him more money, but I don't think it was a money issue. Also, another thing I was going to say why the Chargers probably lost that playoff game is because Winston clearly didn't care. He was offensive coordinator. Clearly, he was already like the fact that he was the only one, as far as my knowledge, the only one taking interview. The Broncos offensive coordinator might have been taking interviews.
No, Adam Gase specifically didn't take any interviews.
Which I know McDaniels took an interview, but he declined it. Which is the Browns would have a coach right now if McDaniels had said yes. But it's just, to me, like, that was a little weird. It just seemed Wisenhunt was being coached around too much before that game. But they all do it. I get it. But to me, the best hire to me is Lovie Smith to the Bucs. I don't know why. I just really like that. I think it's going to be good. A lot of people are saying rumors are already starting whether because he runs at Tampa too. Is he going to get rid of Revis? I don't see why, but I mean, I would see why, but that would shock me if that happened. But I just like that fit. I think Lovie Smith. I mean, he got the Bears to the playoff. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but I mean, the Bucs have talent there. I could easily see them somehow turn around. I mean, that's going to be a hard division to do that in with the Panthers and Saints at the top. But Falcons, who knows what's going
And
on.
the Falcons with all that talent, who knows what's going to happen?
So who really knows? I mean, the Falcons could turn it back right back around. Who knows? I doubt it, but they could. As far as worse, I'm kind of like y'all. I hate to say this. Stephen A. Smith would completely hate all of us, but that the fact that Caldwell, I just think I scratched my head at that. The Lions, it's like you need somebody to go in there and just punch these fools. Like these Lions should be playing better than and a calm guy like Caldwell. Like I just don't. I mean, maybe he yells and I just don't see it, but he just does not seem like the best fit there. Like I feel like they needed somebody that just was a better, which there really wasn't that option out there. Really, I guess.
Had the Jets not brought back Rex Ryan, that's what you should be coaching.
Oh,
had they not brought him back.
And I'm sure we'll talk about that. But thank you, Jets, for re-signing that dude because thank you. But anyway,
he would have been good in Detroit though.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think Rex Ryan, head coach wise, like he may get you at first, but it's just I don't know.
I had this conversation with our friend Danny the other day, who's a huge Jets fan. Yes, Rex Ryan can get bad teams to 8 wins, but Rex Ryan can also get amazing teams to 8 wins. Like I think there's a ceiling with him. I don't know if he's ever going to win a Super Bowl.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a ceiling that he can't take that team further than they should be, and that's. I mean, I guess not a lot of head coaches can do that, so I don't want to sound like a Rex hater, even though I don't like it. But as far as Munchak,
Mike Munchak,
no, Whisenhunt. Well, I guess I already talked about Whisenhunt to Tennessee. I don't know. It would, to me. I still question. I understand like he chose Titans over to Detroit, but to me, I would have still gone. I would have went to Detroit. Detroit has so much talent, man. Like, how do you not want that job? Like, how does no one want that job? That tells you something. Like kind of what we were just saying about earlier. That just kind of tells you something that no one's jumping for that job.
This is an even scarier thought. Bill Lazor, the Eagles quarterbacks coach, the guy that really helped Nick Foles develop, chose to become the Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator instead of the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. This guy would rather be dealing with the worst offensive line in football, Ryan Tannehill, Lamar Miller, Ryan Hartline, and Mike Wallace, than Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and one of the best offensive lines in football. Oh, and Reggie Bush. So,
well, I think something else I would add to that too is that there's a lot of pressure there because there's so much talent. Like you go in there, like I know I'm not saying that there's necessarily that pressure from Detroit, but there's pressure out there from at least from the media, from everybody. Like if you should like anybody with a right brain can deliver. With that talent is what I guess people are thinking. So I think they're like, well, if I go in there and I can't even get 8-9 wins, then I'm going to be, I might not get another job. Like, so I think people are scared about
Detroit, the same teams. It's like Mel Kiper says every day on draft day. The same teams end up drafting high every year because some teams just have a history of bad management. The Lions, the Browns, even the Dolphins, they're all examples of teams that just have a big history in the 2000s of having poorly run franchises. And if you're a coach, maybe that's not the safest bet.
It was funny. It was funny. I remember him a couple years ago. He was like, I'm tired of every day on day one and these first 6 or 7 picks, I'm talking about the Raiders. He's like, this is getting old. He said, every year I have to project who should they take. Does it really matter at this point? I guess they take an offensive lineman, but does it matter at this point?
No.
We'll just be here again saying the same thing. I was like, wow, he's going in right now.
Raiders taking anybody with speed. They still got the Al Davis mentality.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, that's those coaches. They're all, let's be honest, they're all decent hires, but we won't be able to know. So much is going to change from now till August. Who knows?
And Zimmer, I guess Zimmer to the Vikings.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think you said it. We just didn't comment on it. But the Bengals, that's going to be a huge question mark next year to me. Like I know you tweeted about this, Big Rat, but like that's one thing I kind of agree with you on that. Like that's. How are they losing their offensive coordinator, losing their also Jay Gruden to the Redskins?
Oh, we forgot about the Redskins. Yeah, Jay Gruden.
Yeah, forgot all about that.
Yeah, Jay Gruden to the Redskins.
With good reason, we forgot about it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, good luck with that, Jay Gruden. But yeah, the Bengals. But anyways, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I think Jay Gruden helps RG3 though.
He does. He does.
That's why they had to get a guy to say. I mean, geez, they only put like their franchise at stake. They had to get a guy,
You had to tailor around RG3. But Mike Zimmer, I said last week that Mike Zimmer is one of the best coaches in the NFL. I really believe that. And that's why when he got hired, you saw so many former players, so many NFL executives just tweet about how happy that he finally got his shot. He's so awesome, all this and that. Vikings made a good hire there. And whatchamacallit, for the Bengals, they promoted Hugh Jackson to offensive coordinator, which is Hugh Jackson.
Who the fuck is that? I saw that name.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson. He coached the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Okay.
He coached the Raiders the Tebow year.
Okay.
When he was there, Darren McFadden had like his best season ever before he got hurt, of course. Hugh Jackson's a good coach. And Paul Gunter.
Yeah, before he got hurt, of course.
Paul Gunter. Paul Gunter is the new Bengals defensive coordinator. Paul Gunter was the linebackers coach. You look at some of the linebackers. Do you guys know who Vontaze Burfict is? He's the he was one of the best linebackers in the NFL, undrafted. So obviously Paul Gunter deserves some credit for his development. So he's going to be the new defensive coordinator. So maybe it won't be that bad, but it's a loss, definitely. But come on, enough about this. We'll get to the conference championship games later, I guess. The moment I've been waiting for so long. Me and Phil are not even going to talk in this segment. And let me give some background. Lane Kiffin, the devil of this show, the enemy of Markeem, the person that Markeem called the worst employee in America several times on this show. Lane Kiffin got hired to become the Alabama offensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator, Doug Newsomeyer, or whatever his name is, jumped from Alabama to Michigan to become Michigan's offensive coordinator. A lot of people...
And I understand why he did it. I'll explain.
Oh, yeah. You'll get into that. But a lot of people are praising this move. A lot of people are saying, oh, Lane Kiffin, he's a great person to have when he's not a head coach because he doesn't have to piss people off and all this and that. A lot of people are praising Alabama for this. And even if Markeem praises him, I don't know. But I just am very, very, very interested to hear this. Me and Phil are not going to talk. Explain the Michigan situation first. But, yeah, thoughts?
I don't blame him for moving to Michigan because he wants to be a head coach. And the stigma at Alabama is that they went on defense and Nick Saban. He needs a place to shine. If Michigan puts up like 40 points a game this year, he'll be a head coach somewhere. I understand it.
Makes sense.
All right, Lane Kiffin. All right, let me talk about the move. Let me talk about the move first. I think if Nick Saban completely has final say on everything that happens, but he just has Lane Kiffin's idea, still a bad idea. Like, you know why?
Yes. Because
he was a consultant at the Oklahoma game.
Oh.
What happened?
You know.
What happened there? They were a heavy favorite, and that team offensively did not look how they looked all year. A.J. McCarron was turning over the ball. When does that happen? When does that ever happen? Their play calling was rather sluggish because Lane Kiffin probably gave some bogus advice to Nick Saban. And because they're buddies, this dude has the most luckiest, like he is football lucky. He's football Richie Rich, dog. His daddy is Monty Kiffin. One of his best friends is Nick Saban. He worked for the Raiders, one of the most important franchises in the NFL. How does he do this? No, if you're not a head coach, what is the best job in football to have right now? Yeah. Being on the Alabama coaching staff. I don't know if it's a race thing. I don't know if he just pays these people off. I don't know if he's sucking niggas' dick. I don't know what's happening here. No. I keep trying to figure it out. I guess you figure, okay, I'm not gonna coach anywhere. What's the next best thing I can do? Maybe he's just like that's what I'm saying. He can be a car salesman. Maybe he's just that good with people. Maybe he just understands the psychology of people so much that he wowed them so much at the Alabama interview. It's like, we got to have this guy who has a losing record not a losing record, but like a 500 record as a college head coach because of one season he had at USC, by the way. That's like a 500 record as a college head coach. Was the laughing stock of the NFL when he was a head coach there, and pretty much is more trouble than he's worth. We need him though. This is the guy we need. All the talented offensive minds out there in college football that would kill the coach at Alabama, that would leave wherever they are to coach at Alabama. You pick this dude. The way the USC offense looked before he left, this is the guy you choose. This dude right here, Lane Kiffin. Really? And it's this big thing, like you said, kid, where people think that, oh, well, now because Nick Saban has the final say, Lane Kiffin just won't have free reign over everything. So that's a good thing. It's like the Russo effect. If you put a muzzle on him, he's not that bad. I don't see it. I think people say he can coach offense, but I don't see it. I don't see it. All I've ever seen him do is destroy bad teams. When his teams have played good defenses, the offense does not look good. It is that simple. Well, I don't understand how this is a good hire at all. And I know why he's doing this. I know why his punk ass is doing this, because Alabama's good every year. And if they're successful and they win, they go undefeated, they lose like one game, he'll get another head coaching job somewhere he don't need to be. That's why he's doing this. I hate this dude. If I ever met him, I would just, my God, how he does this, man? How? It's, oh my God. Let's just move. Let's go.
I need to ask though, is Alabama?
God.
Is Alabama? Do you think Alabama still makes the SEC title game? Like, just off the bat, don't even think about it. Just because Lane Kiffin is there, does that automatically make them not a strong contender to make that game?
No, not at all. Like, the question mark with them was that they were losing A.J. McCarron. I was like, even without the loss of A.J. McCarron, I still think they're a contender. I think them and Auburn are the top two.
Their schedule is easy.
Yeah. But, even with that being said, I think him, Auburn and them were the top two now. Now I got Auburn and Ole Miss. Like, seriously. Right after this hire, I was like, Auburn or Ole Miss. It's that simple. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy, man. Alabama's going to lose 3 games next year.
Wow.
How do you look at the schedule?
Their schedule's easy, really easy.
Their schedule's easy this year, and they lost 2 games.
That's true. Yeah.
They're going to lose 3 games this year. Like, this nigga's going to drive Nick Saban crazy. I promise you. They're like really close. They're like really good friends, though. This right here is gonna fuck up their friendship. This right here, Nick Saban, you lost a friend in the process of doing this. Good job. You lost a friend.
So I think we take whoever's going to be the next Alabama starting quarterback off our Heisman watch list at the start of the year.
Yeah, without question. Oh my God! With Lane Kiffin coaching him, you forget about that. You forget about that. That shit ain't happening. CJ Yeldon, I'm sorry for you. That backup, they averaged like 10 yards. I can't remember his name right now, but I feel sorry for you too. All y'all wide receivers, forget about it. Lane Kiffin is the offensive coordinator. Y'all will be wildly predictable on offense. Good job. Good job.
Damn. Markeem laying it down. That's what I'd like to see.
I'm kind of curious. Do y'all have theories? How the fuck does he keep doing this? Seriously. You get fired. You are the biggest laughing stock of college football last year. Niggas were laughing at you. You get fired and your team only loses 1 game down the stretch. 1 fucking game down the stretch. After you get fired.
Markeem.
You get the best assistant job in football. I don't get it. How?
I think maybe he's. You know how there's certain people that can convince you it's raining even though it's not raining. He's got him. He's got to have that mentality. Like he must. He must just sound like glorious when he talks. Like he must sound like they must like completely just believe everything he says.
The proof is there. The proof is there. It feels like when people were telling me, y'all remember Mark Pryor a few years ago, the coach pitcher, when it was like, yeah, he's a young guy and he's like going to be the next this and the next that. He's like the next prospect. He's going to be an amazing pitcher. The nigga kept getting hurt and he never turned out the way he was supposed to be. He's Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is Mark Pryor. They're equal to each other. It's the same person. He's Mark Pryor 10 years older. That's what he is. Fuck this dude, man. Fuck this dude. God. It's not fair that some people just have that advantage in life. It's just not fair. It's not fair. Like, he upsets me. He really does. He upsets me.
Damn.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
The more I think about this, man, let's go.
Hold on. Wait.
Hold on my hand.
All right, so next we go to
And I could be wrong. maybe Nick Saban knows something I don't. I could be wrong, but dog, the proof is in the fucking pudding. Everywhere he goes, destruction is laid there. Every single place he's ever been. I don't see why this would be any different. Alabama is going to be like it was in the mid '90s again. This is the beginning of the end of Alabama. This Lane Kiffin. Now, if they keep him around, this hire is the beginning of the end.
Markeem Graham.
Unless I'm wrong. Unless I'm wrong. I could be, but I don't think so.
Anyways, now we move on. You talk about the conference championship games. We've already spoken a little bit about both teams. They did the Niners Seahawks game at night and the Broncos Patriots game during the day, and I'm actually happy they did that because I think they're both going to be great games. We're all very excited for both of them. I
was shocked they did that though. I was really like
I was really surprised.
You love how they love Manning Brady, so I was really shocked they didn't put that in the late game.
Hey, good. It's good booking.
I applaud them. You have the veterans starting it off, and you have it's like
the young guys close out the show. Yeah.
WWE would never do this. This is like Rock Cena going before I don't know, Dan Bryan.
Markeem, they're letting the young guys that they're trying to get over main event so that people can pay attention more and take them more seriously and know that they don't play second fiddle to Brady and Manning. They're just as good, if not better, than Brady and Manning.
Are we for real comparing this to pro wrestling as we're doing right now?
Similar logic. Anyways, we'll talk about Niners Seahawks first though, because that's a more interesting game. I'm kind of torn on this one. I have my picks here. We all do, I'm sure. But Markeem, I'll start this off with you. This game, how do you think it's going to go down? Give us a winner.
I got the Niners, man. I think they're just hotter. I think you got to go with the hot team right now, and I think they're just clicking more. I don't think that Russell Wilson against this defense is just going to automatically slip out of this fun. I love the guy. This is one of those dudes I'm glad I was wrong about because I love watching him play. And Marshawn Lynch, you give him the ball, special things happen. But I just don't think I just see the Niners just hotter. I think definitely at this point.
Phil,
I'm starting to think they're going to win it all. To be honest with you,
I've heard many people say that.
Like I said, I said this earlier in the podcast. Or whatever this is. I had Seattle. I've had Seattle for a while. Didn't have Seattle preseason, but after the Falcons train jumped off, I quickly jumped on Seattle for the NFC. But this is hard for me because I agree. Like the Niners, I've opened my eyes on the Niners. Like I always knew, of course, when they got healthy, they were going to get better. But I just didn't expect it. They look like they're on a mission. Like Kaepernick, Harbaugh, all of them look like you're not stopping. But Seattle, and then it's like I expect a little more out of Seattle at home against the Saints. Like they weren't really like a dominating. And it didn't seem like the crowd noise was as much as I thought it would be in that Saints game. So now it's gonna be insane for this game. Like the rivalry. I mean, this game's gonna be insane. But I just don't know, man. It's a rivalry. Anything can happen in a rivalry, man. And it's championship Sunday. It's hard. This is hard. And I said Seattle would never lose at home. Of course, they lost to Arizona. Arizona beat them, but and I reiterated it and said they would never lose in the playoffs. I'm gonna ride with. I'm gonna keep on the Seattle train. I'm gonna go Seattle. But man, this is hard. I would not be shocked at all if the Niners. To me, honestly, and I guess this is kind of spoiling something. Y'all get shocked. I don't see how anybody. I don't care, Denver or New England, is going to beat either one of these teams in the Super Bowl. I just don't see it.
Wow.
He's
to hear that from Phil.
He's not.
Wow.
And let me explain that, why I think that. Because neither Denver or New England, whoever comes out of the AFC Championship game, we'll get to that in a second, the defense, they haven't faced the defensive line like they're going to face regardless if Seattle or San Fran wins. And the run that I feel like I said, I'm picking Seattle. But if San Fran, with the run that they're making, if they go into Seattle and beat San Fran, that team is going to be. And then to go back to the Super Bowl in which they got, let's just be honest, outside of a light shortage, San Fran would have got their butt raped. Like, then the lights go off, change the whole momentum. I don't care what we talked about this before, but that changed all the momentum. And Niners like, look, they had plenty of time, like an hour and a half, if not more, to decide that okay, we need to get back in this game. So the Niners are hungry, and if they get in that man, it's gonna make me want to change my pick.
Yeah.
Coming. I'm convincing myself to not pick Seattle. Anyways, I just think I don't know. The winner of this team is just gonna be two, unless they just. I mean, obviously, I think in the Super. I mean, you saw. Yes, I'm gonna actually bring this up, like I really want to. But you can't say, well, Denver's going to score too much or New England's going to score too much. Can't say that. 17-14. Do I have to remind myself?
Yes, of course.
when they face defense that was just ugly, and I see that in San Fran and I see that in Seattle when they're at their best. Thomas on Seattle and Sherman and all those guys, and then on San Fran we don't have to talk about Allen Smith and freaking Navarro Bowman and what's the other. Freaking Patrick Willis. I mean, they're a beast on both teams. You don't have that on either Denver.
Alden Smith, Justin Smith.
Justin Smith's the other guy. Yeah, he's freaking phenomenal. You don't have like maybe without if the injuries weren't on Denver or New England, then maybe you'd have those impact players. But they don't. Denver and New England don't have that. So unless the defense just doesn't show up in the playoffs, anyways, we'll talk about that.
Do you know what Colin Kaepernick could do to the Broncos D?
And here's another thing too. You have a running quarterback, regardless of who wins San Fran, Seattle. You have a running quarterback. So even if the defenses of Patriots or the Broncos are able to step up, Seattle. I mean, Russell Wilson, I love the dude. Like, he's probably my second favorite quarterback in the league. But like, the dude is awesome. Like, he can avoid. Kaepernick is playing, like you said, lights out. I mean, like I said, I'm analyzing a game that hasn't is where I'm a week ahead, so I'll try to cut that off. But anyways, I'm gonna stick with Seattle. Just sticking with my guns. Something tells me I'm completely stupid on this, but whatever. I'm going with Seattle.
I think it's important to have. Yes, the Seahawks didn't look good at all against the Saints. I just think it's important to keep some perspective that this team still is dangerous, and that as bad as Russell Wilson has played lately, he still is. He at any moment could have a very, very strong performance because he's that good. I akin this to, and me and Markeem, I remember we talked about this game when it happened. This was before we had the show. The Ravens in 2011, they beat the TJ Yates-led Texans barely in the divisional round. They barely won that game. And TJ Yates threw 3 interceptions, and Jacoby Jones, when he was on the Texans at the time, fumbled the ball on the goal line, like on the kickoff. Like, the Ravens barely won that game against TJ Yates. And they went to the conference championship game against the Patriots, and the Patriots had just destroyed Tim Tebow and the Broncos. And everyone was like, oh my God, the Ravens looked really bad in the divisional round. The Patriots looked awesome. And then in the conference championship game, I mean, the Ravens, we've talked about this ad nauseum, the Patriots won the game, but the Ravens really impressed everybody on how they looked. That was the best they had looked all season, in my opinion. And we'd all forgotten that because of how bad their performance in the divisional round was. And likewise, Tom Brady, who played awesome in the divisional round, the team may have won, but Tom Brady played awful in the conference championship game. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 59 quarterback rating. That's bad. So I just think, the Seahawks, I'm picking the Seahawks.
I meant you know that on the top of the head. Jesus, kid.
I just saw a stat about Brady and Manning in conference championship games yesterday.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say.
And but my point is either way that I picked the Seahawks before the season, like everybody did. I'm not going to brag about it. The number one favorite pick before the season was Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl. Me and Phil both picked that. Phil had the Seahawks winning it. I had the Broncos winning it.
Preseason Broncos Falcons.
Oh yeah, Broncos Falcons. I meant mid-season.
Mid-season, I think.
Yeah, but I'm sticking with the Seahawks here. I think they're at home, and that's a big deal. I know everyone talks about how impressed San Francisco looked and how bad Seattle looked. They're still at home, and I get it. It wouldn't surprise me at all if San Francisco wins. Jim Harbaugh's a better coach than Pete Carroll, in my opinion. Colin Kaepernick is playing better than Russell Wilson right now. And the defense for San Francisco, while it may not be as good as Seattle's, it's not far off. But it's just Seattle is the number 1 seed for a reason. They still could play great in their building. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them play great in their building and give the Niners a game. This is the sexy pick. You would think the Niners are the favorites based on how many people are picking the Niners. But I'm sticking with my guns too. I'm sticking with Seattle. Wouldn't be surprised at all if San Francisco wins. I've picked them. I was the only one of the 3 of us to pick them to win last week. But it's tempting, but I'm going to stick with my original prediction and go Seahawks. out in this one. I think Seahawks win a close one. And, I think they go to the Super Bowl. And next we move on, of course, to the bigger game, Broncos. The game, Broncos-Patriots. I am obviously a Peyton Manning fan. Phil is a Patriots fan. So this is going to be, one of us is going to leave that game very, very sad, unfortunately.
This is the epic build up, man. We got to build this up, man. We got.
I'll go first. I'll go first because
I was gonna say
my pick's pretty obvious. I mean, I had the Broncos winning the Super Bowl before the season. I'm a Peyton Manning mark. I'm not going to back out of my Super Bowl winner, so I'm going to stick with the Broncos here. I'm going to throw a few stats at you guys. And this is not me being a Patriots hater. These are just stats I read this week because I've read a lot about both games. The Patriots, since 2009. Are 3-10 on the road against teams with a winning record. Teams that finished the season with a winning record. 3-10 on the road.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Every time Peyton Manning and Tom Brady have played in the playoffs, the home team has won.
That's right. Yeah, good point.
And what was the other stat line I saw? Oh yeah, the Patriots haven't won a playoff game outside of Foxborough. It's not even that they haven't played. They haven't won.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
7 years when this whole team was very different. I've seen the Patriots. I saw the Patriots against the Miami Dolphins on the road, and they just, especially their defense, didn't look at all. When the Miami Dolphins are outscoring you, the Miami Dolphins, Mike Sherman, fired offensive coordinator, led offense, is outscoring you on the road. I mean, that's problematic. I'm sorry. But the Patriots on the road this year haven't really been as impressive. And they were fucking lucky to beat the Saints. Not lucky, but they were fortunate to get wins over the Saints, Browns, and Broncos at home. All those games could have gone the other way. The Broncos-Patriots game in the regular season, it means nothing. Gronkowski was in that game. Von Miller was in that game. They're both not playing. That's a big deal for both teams.
No Julius Thomas for the Broncos.
No Julius Thomas for the Broncos in that game either. There's just...
Brandon Spikes, I think, played in that. Yeah,
Brandon Spikes played in that game. Like it's not
totally
the same.
different teams.
Yeah, it's totally different teams. Peyton Manning... I trust, aside from me being a mark for Peyton Manning, here's a stat for you guys. Peyton Manning's quarterback rating in conference championship games, 97. Tom Brady's in his past two conference championship games, 97. Tom Brady in his past two conference championship games, his quarterback rating, 69. And both of those were at home. Tom Brady has gone 3 straight conference championship games, throwing at least 2 interceptions. The 2017, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The 2011 team, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And of course, last year, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Brady, I think people still don't realize that when Gronkowski's not on the field and Brady has to settle with Edelman, Amendola, Dobson, and Tompkins, Brady isn't the same quarterback. It's not his fault. Give Peyton Manning those 4 guys, his numbers would go down too, obviously. But I'm keeping it simple. Aside from me being a mark, I'm just keeping it simple. Peyton Manning's played better than Brady this year. It's in Denver. It's keeping it simple. Broncos. Markeem?
Wait.
Well, I'm going to let Phil go because I'm the unbiased one here in this
First
situation.
of all, I got to do this. That was good. There's nothing I can. That was great.
Thank you.
It makes me want to throw something at you because I was hoping you'd give me some fuel, but you didn't give me anything.
Come on. You know I always hide the positive Patriot stats.
Of course. No, but everything you said, I mean, you can't argue. Trust me. Sometimes look, when you're a fan of a team, sometimes there's certain stats you just don't want to believe, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the. I mean, there are some things that I guess not believe, not the right word, but so the 3-10. I was like, that's true. I mean, it's just it doesn't hit you until you hear it, and you're like, you want to argue it, but it's not. I mean, you can't argue facts. It's just kind of one of those things, and it's like we have struggled on the road. The thing where I'll bring in the road struggles are going to continue this weekend. I think obviously because I wish this game was in New England, but anyways, but I think this game's a little different, and this is where I'll say that I think it's different. I think a lot has been, and especially the last two. I think a lot of pressure has been on Brady. Our defenses have been awful in the last 2 AFC Championship games, I would say. And granted, you could probably make a case that it's even worse now. But I just feel like this team, I don't know, the defense, it doesn't have the stars that it has had in the past 2 AFC Championship games, but it's just playing different. And even with we're losing a guy every 5 seconds. I think we just lost somebody just now to hurt him. But I'm just like it just seems that way.
That was a good one.
and it's like Brandon Spikes goes down, and Jamie Collins just it's like the next guy up. It's just really this team has really played like the next guy up, and I know every team preaches that. But to me, this is going all you fanboys that decide to show up playoff time. Y'all might want to just sit back and not watch this game because you're going to be stunned about what I'm about to say, because I know this is how the game's going to happen. The game is going to be decided two places, and a couple people have said this on ESPN. I don't know, Mark Slarev's one of the first ones that I know off the top of my head.
The best dude ESPN has.
I know you say, yeah, and that's why I had to mention him again, because I know you said that earlier today. This game is not going to be won by the quarterbacks. Not going to be won by them.
I actually agree with that too. Yeah.
This game is going to be won by both offensive lines and the running game. And this is why, and to me, when I look at both running backs, Blunt is just playing out his mind. Marino's just getting it done. Like, Marino's getting it done when he needs to get it done, but he's not playing at the level Blunt's playing. And if you can't stop Blunt, the Broncos are in trouble. Now, it's harder to run on the road than it would be at home. And I know the Colts defense is not, I mean, even as much as you want to get on the Broncos defense, the run defenses, I think, was like eighth in the league, so you can't really knock that. Of course, that was, most of the time having Von Miller and other guys like that. Also, losing a cornerback the week before, like, the Patriots have been dealing with injuries. So have the Broncos. I'm not going to overpower any injuries on either side. But I just feel like Blunt, I just don't think he's going to stop. Like, I don't think he's just going to come into Denver and Denver's just going to stop him. I think he's going to have a great game. And I think, here's another thing. The Broncos' defensive line was getting sacks after sack on the Chargers because that offensive line was garbage. Brady's going to have an offensive line that's going to block for him. Now, I'm not saying the Broncos aren't going to get some pressure. They're going to, they'll find ways to get some. But if they give Brady time, that just adds to it. And I think we always got so close to Andrew Luck in the game on our defensive side, but just could never get it. We could never get him because he's Andrew freaking Luck, which I know he's. But Peyton Manning's, you get to him, you got him. Like, we would get to Andrew Luck and you just like toss it as he's falling backwards. But I don't think you're going to get that from Peyton, which I'm pretty sure you're not going to get it. But and then down basic football here, but it's going to come down to turnovers as well. I mean, if people forget in the previous game, like you said, I agree. It's just totally different teams. But the Patriots were only down 24-0 because they turned the ball 4 times, 4 turnovers. They had 4 turnovers in that game early on, and that's why once the turnover stopped, Patriots were back in it. That game was at home, and I know everybody in the mom is going to hate me for this, but I am turning on my prediction of the Broncos beating the Patriots. I am picking my Pats, and like I said, I know everybody's going to go crazy, and they're going, oh, blah, blah, blah. But I cannot. There's not, and this is just me personally. I'm not saying Patriots fans in general because I know a lot of them can be freaking retards. But one thing I will say is, like, I need this, man. I need this, so I can. So, and tell me. Let me just tell you this: if the Patriots win this game, and then of course we got to get to the Super Bowl win because no one will remember.
Wait till that happens before you do anything you're gonna do, though.
Right. I know. I'm not gonna do it now. But y'all, all I can say is y'all might not want to watch that show. If the Patriots win this game, and then I'm not gonna say anything after this game, they have to win both because I know everybody will completely forget about this game if we lose the Super Bowl. But y'all better just stay off Twitter. That's all. Stay off Twitter and stay off because y'all all getting it. Y'all all get it.
If the Patriots,
oh, you haters that come out only when the Patriots are playing, y'all all getting it. Y'all all getting it.
If the Patriots win this game, I think Markeem and Phil will have a nice time doing the Super Bowl preview by themselves. I will be home. In my cave. Not just that, I have to see the Patriots go to another Super Bowl. But
I had to come on this show after Andrew Luck got embarrassed. No, nigga, you got to come on this show.
I'm the one that uploads the fucking show. I'm not actually gonna leave.
I'm just saying, you still got to come on this show. It has to happen.
I would just like to say, but I will say this: if Peyton Manning wins, opposite to what Phil was saying, last time I remember a season like this, a season where Peyton got nothing but criticized for his inability to win in the postseason. He faced Tom Brady in the conference championship game, beat Tom Brady, and then won a Super Bowl ring to shut everybody up. And somehow, we're 6 years later, and it's the same thing.
We're in that same situation.
Everyone constantly criticizing Manning for his quote-unquote unclutch ability to win in the playoffs, even though he's been to 2 fucking Super Bowls, and facing Brady again. And I just think the script, if he does win this game, is writing itself up very nicely to history repeat itself. But yeah.
And 2 things I'll add. One thing I'll say, I know what one of them was, but I'm trying to think of the second one. lost the foot. Anyway, well, the first one, if Peyton goes all the way and wins it all, I still stand by what I say. The dude's retiring. I still stand by that. I know a lot of people call me crazy, but I think he's calling it quits if he wins it all. Could be wrong, but I mean, there's records out there for him. But I honestly think he just wants to get this done. But I mean, he can still play football, so there's just a prediction I'm sticking by. But what's the second thing? I lost it. Gosh, it was something good too. I was gonna say.
No.
Oh well, it's lost until I can think of it again.
Markeem?
Oh, there is one thing I want just for. Oh, sorry.
No, finish your point.
This
Echo.
Oh, sorry. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good now. No, it's not.
Please, this all I ask for this game. Well, I asked for a lot, but the one thing I want to add: please don't let Wes Welker drop the final pass for Peyton Manning because Skip Bayless. Good night.
Oh my God, man.
I mean, inside I will laugh a little bit. But even everybody knows my feelings about Welker. Yes. I love the man. But yeah, please don't let. I've actually unfollowed. I already said that on the show, but I unfollowed Skip Bayless based off something he said about Tom Brady. That's
yes. Echo's living loud.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm done anyways. Go ahead.
I mean, I think you're still an echo.
Yeah, I get it.
I can't change it.
All right, Markeem, just deal with it. I guess I don't know. It's better.
I actually disagree with both of you.
All right then.
I think that this game will be won by the quarterbacks. I think that essentially you will get basically the same running game from each team. I think the rushing numbers will look very similar. Time possession will look similar. I think that this is a legacy game for one of these dudes. Yeah, I mean, I think that, even though Brady has more Super Bowls, a lot of people think Manning is the more talented quarterback. And then on Manning's side, you hear people say, well, Brady's the guy that always won in the playoffs, and you were the guy that just put up those numbers. I think this is a classic situation. Seriously. I think we're privileged to see possibly, arguably, the two greatest quarterbacks of all time, definitely the best of this generation, go head to head. And we're very lucky to see this. I think Peyton Manning's fed up with the bullshit. I think he's tired of hearing, this nigga's better than me. I got fucking 10,000 more passing yards. I got fucking like 200 more touchdowns, something like that. Something crazy like that. My completion percentage is better. My QB rating is better. I played with defenses that gave up an average about 25 points a game when I was in Indianapolis. I'm a bad dude. And I'm going to show y'all this Sunday that I'm a bad dude. That defense ain't got nothing for me. They won't touch me. My boys are better than his boys. We're going to light them up. And I think Tom Brady's going to go, oh, you think so? You think so?
Right.
I'm going to light you up, too. I'm going to tear you apart, too, because I'm tired of hearing about you, your old ass. Sit your old ass down, nigga. I got 3 years on you, son. I'm younger than you. I'm going to be here when you go. That's pretty much what's going to happen. And each one of them going to have like 300 some odd yards. Both of them going to have like 3-4 touchdowns. And I think at the end, ironically, Peyton Manning will lead them down the field and score the last touchdown. And then you have it. The score will be like 35 to like 34. Broncos.
As long as that same thing, like Big Rat mentioned it earlier, if the Patriots are up like 21-3 at halftime, I'm leaving the room. I can't watch it. Because if you don't remember,
because it's like, it might happen. It might happen to us this time.
Huh?
It might happen to us this time again.
Again, that's what happened to Indy. We were up by 18 when Peyton Manning went to his first Super Bowl.
Damn, I forgot about that. Fuck.
Yeah, I remember that. Trust me, that one still stings just as much as the other one.
All right.
Because I know each one of them are tired of hearing about the other. I really think both of them just gonna go nuts this weekend. I think that Belichick will be like, all right, Tom, we're gonna do what we did last week, same plan. And Brady's gonna look at him like, nigga, you think so? You think for real in this game? You think I'm gonna do that? And I'm pretty sure John Fox like, all right, Peyton, we gonna run the ball. Really? You think so? Both of them gonna throw like 40 times this game. I really believe that.
And watch.
I could see either way. I could see that too. I could see it happening. But.
And should be fun.
I really think I really think they respect each other, but I think the shit is personal, man, because they're linked. Like no one, it's like Marino and Elway.
I was gonna say you could tell it's personal when Peyton said what he said at the end of the game when he's like, "It's Patriots Broncos." Like you could tell it got to him as soon as the guy's like Brady or the girl was like Brady, another Brady versus Manning game. What do you think about it, Manning? And he's like, "It's Patriots Broncos, man. It's not just us." You know, it's like
I know they don't listen. Like it's really like Brady and Brady. It's really like Elway and Marino. They didn't dislike each other, but the competition was there. Every time they played each other, they wanted to show out. And I think that's what's gonna happen.
Right, once the bell rings, basically, kind of thing. Like they're good friends.
Yeah.
Like they're cool and everything. Once the game starts, bam, I'm gonna outdo you every time.
It should be a good weekend. Of course, again, I can't help but have this feeling. Everyone's so excited for this weekend, saying it's going to be amazing, saying it's going to be so great.
And both of these games blew out.
Both of these games would completely suck. Like, I'm getting that urge again. Of the two, I think this one has more of a potential to be a quote-unquote blowout. By blowout, I mean more than a 7-point victory. Just because I think the Niners and the Seahawks both have such good defenses that it's almost impossible to have a legit
it would always be close, right?
Yeah. Because
and if one of these offenses get going, then yeah, it could get bad.
So we'll see, but should be fun. Obviously, I'm excited. As long as Peyton Manning wins, I don't care, and I'm sure for Phil, as long as the Patriots wins, he doesn't care. So
anything, I don't care how we win. I don't care how anybody performs. I just want to win. Move on to the next game.
And should be a good weekend. Hope you all enjoy it. And with that,
enjoy Manning versus Brady. It's not, you don't see it much longer.
Fair enough. And this very well may be the last Manning versus Brady in the playoffs. I saw someone say that the other day, and I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, maybe.
So
maybe.
Appreciate it. So everyone, we're gonna be out. Should be a good weekend. Let's get excited. And with that, we are out. Goodbye, guys.
Later.